Good day, folks. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Zhiyun Smooth Q2. This is an ultra small, ultra portable gimbal for your smartphone. So let's just jump right in and take a closer look. I'm a little bit late to the party with this gimbal. This has actually been out for quite some time, a good month and a half now. I just haven't had time to get at it yet. I've been so busy with other products, but we're going to take a look at it today and see how it works. First, let's just do a quick unboxing of it, see what all comes inside. So let's see what we got in here. First off, we got a package here with all our manuals and different information about the gimbal. We've got our smartphone holder, and you can see just how compact that is when it's folded up. It goes fairly wide, but doesn't take up a lot of room when you're packing it. We got silica gel, we have a wrist strap, and we have a USB-C cable. Very happy that it is USB-C. And here we have the gimbal itself, and it is actually very small. Wow. And my first initial impressions of it, that this thing actually feels like a nice quality product. It's got a nice handle on it, nice rubberized handle. Gimbals nowadays are getting so cheap to buy, and that's kind of being reflected upon the build quality. But this looks like it has a really nice build to it. It does not look like a cheap piece of equipment by any means. Now, the main selling point of the Smooth Q2 is its size. You can see here it's a very compact gimbal. That's really important for a lot of people nowadays, because in the past that was always a problem. Gimbals were very big and bulky, and they just weren't very convenient to carry around. Especially if it's something you were just going to use periodically throughout the day. To carry a great big bulky gimbal around just didn't make sense, and most people opted not to bring them, period. But now with gimbals getting smaller and more capable, it's something that more people are using on a regular basis. Now here's just a size comparison to the Osmo Mobile 3. You can see here it's not all that much smaller, but definitely this is something that would be easier just to stuff in a pocket, whereas the Osmo Mobile 3, would be a little bit bulky in your pocket. Let's take a look around the gimbal here. On the side here, we have a USB-C port for charging. We actually have a removable battery, so that's kind of nice. A lot of people like that you can remove and replace the battery if need be. The Osmo Mobile 3 has a built-in battery, so when the battery is shot in this, it's basically garbage. So it is kind of nice that you can replace the battery. We have some LEDs along the top to tell us what mode we're in, and that's actually a really nice feature. There's no guesswork. We have a 5-way joystick. You can also press on it. It acts as a button. We have a record button, and we have a power button. And all of these buttons perform multiple tasks, and we'll get into that here once we get it powered on. There's a quarter 20 at the bottom for attaching to things like tripods or extension poles. And you can see here we have a little cutout, and that's where we would attach a wrist strap. Now this gimbal doesn't have any locks per se, but it does kind of snap in there, as you can see, and it does stay in place. At the top here we have a locking switch. That's how we lock the cradle in. And you can see here we have a micro USB port. Now that's for charging your smartphone. When your smartphone is mounted in there, you can actually plug it in and charge up the device from the battery. And there's not a cable included, so depending on what type of phone you're using, you're going to have a micro USB to lightning cable or a micro USB to USB-C. You can purchase them fairly inexpensively on Amazon. And it does state in the user manual to absolutely make sure you do not try to charge the unit with that port. If you do try, you could damage the circuit boards. Let's go ahead and get a phone mounted in there, and then we'll test out some of the features. So the first thing we have to do is mount our cradle, and you can see here we have kind of like a flange there at the top. It just slides down in here into the receiver until you can hear it click in, and then we use this lever up here to lock it in. So when you're lining it up, you want the longer piece down at the bottom. I'm just going to throw a little mini tripod on here while we balance it. Now it is capable of holding phones that weigh up to 260 grams. Right here I've got the iPhone XS Max. Now it weighs about 204 grams I believe, so we're kind of getting up there to maximum weight. I also did test it out with an iPhone 11 Pro Max, and again it worked fine. It's a little heavier. I think it's around the 220 gram mark. Now with these larger phones you do have to take some precaution, and I'll kind of show you that here in a minute. So we're going to go ahead and mount our phone and balance it. Now balancing in this gimbal is a little bit different. What we're going to do is face the lens up and the screen down, and that's how we want it to balance. So we're just going to slide it until it stays level. Just like that. And you can slide it back and forth this way as well. You can see that there, how it moves. So you just want it roughly so it stays in that position, and right now it's balanced perfectly. Now what I mentioned about you have to be careful is that you can see here that this phone, when not powered on, flops around quite a bit. And in this position there, you can see that the phone screen can make contact with the handle. So you do have to be careful that it doesn't flop around too much. You could end up scratching or even breaking your screen. Now another nice thing about this design is that you can dismount the phone very quickly. Say you have to make a phone call or you need to use it for some other purpose. All you do is unlock the red lever at the back, And you can see here the phone pulls right out. You could then make your phone call, and when you're ready to shoot again, you just lock it back in. So let's kind of walk through some of the buttons and what they do. This joystick up here acts as our mode select button. Just by pressing it once, you can see here that it'll flip through all the different modes. If we do a double press, you can see it'll go backwards to the previous mode. This gimbal is capable of all the modes that we're used to with all the different gimbals. We have pan follow, we have lock, we have follow, we have point of view, and then we have vortex where the phone will spin around. And then depending what mode we're in, you can use the joystick to angle the phone. Now a long press on the joystick will put it into standby mode. You can see there it's powered on still, but it's in standby mode. To take it out of standby mode, we just long press again, and it'll come back to life. Below that we have our shutter button, and we can take photos and stop and start recording by pressing it. You can do that within the Zhiyun Play app, but you can also do it within the native camera. We can connect this gimbal to the smartphone via Bluetooth, and then we can use the built-in camera app and still use that button to stop and start recording. Now of course, if you want to make full use of the gimbal's features for creating time lapses and different things like that, you can download the Zhiyun Play app, and it gives you a whole bunch of tools that you can make some really interesting things. The bottom button is our power button, but it does a few things as well. If you have your gimbal moved and you just want to recenter it, you just do a double press on it and it will recenter it. Then a triple tap on it will put it into selfie mode. Just like that. Another triple tap will put it back to normal. You can film in portrait just by turning it on its side, just like that. It's now in portrait mode, and then turn it to go back. And then of course we can put it into vortex mode and it will just spin indefinitely. So that's something that is not really useful for a lot of situations, but if you want to get creative, you have that option. Now one last thing I want to show you here before we go out and test it is that it has a wide angle lens mode. A lot of today's smartphones have wide angle lenses, and the problem is that this back motor is usually in the way for a lot of the gimbals that are on the market. So what Zhiyun has done is added a wide angle lens mode. And basically what we do is triple tap on the record button, and that's going to change the angle of the gimbal. You can see there how it moved, and basically that just puts it at an angle that motor's not going to be in view. Now I did test it out, and for the most part it works well. There was a few times it popped into the corner just a little bit depending on how I was moving. But for the most part, like I said, it does work well. So let's just head out and do some test footage and see how it performs. So as you can see, it's a really nice gimbal. It works well. It's got a lot of nice features, and it's really compact. So whether you're going to be using it for a day, you can actually take it along with you. It's not going to take up a lot of room in your camera bag or your backpack. Now, of all the features, what I do love about it the most is that you can connect a microphone to it very easily. This here is the Rode Video Mic Me. This is the Lightning version. As you can see, we can just plug it into the side like that, and it works beautifully. You can do some vlogging with it and have really nice audio. That's something you just can't do with the Osmo Mobile 3. The Osmo Mobile 3 is a nice gimbal as well, but you just can't connect an external microphone to it. Just the way that the arms are angled, there's no way to connect the Rode microphone to it. It's just in the way. So definitely being able to connect a microphone like this easily to it is a huge bonus. So yeah, folks, that is the Zhiyun Smooth Q2. I'll leave some links down in the description of this video where you can go and check this gimbal out further. I want to thank you for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.